Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get started. Little introduction, I'm Rachel Mason. I help out with the DFW tug and then have also been helping out with the overall Texas tug groups, which also includes San Antonio, Austin, and DFW, with also some people from, I think I mentioned already, San Antonio and then Houston. So we're very happy to have each of you tuning in today, and we have a very exciting tug planned. But first, I want to give a few announcements and walk through today's meeting agenda. So let me share my screen real quick. Is everyone able to see my screen? Give me a thumbs up.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So as you can see, after receiving some great feedback from last month's meeting, we are using Zoom meeting again this month instead of Zoom webinar. So if you haven't already done so, I encourage you to turn your camera on so we can see everyone's beautiful face. And then of course you can wave to some friends if you see them on there, chat them. I think that this is a way more engaging and fun to see your peers on here and your friends. And of course, we want to make these tugs a great opportunity for you guys to network and meet other users, even when we're virtual. So moving into today's agenda, a few announcements. Please fill out the tug survey. Your feedback is very important to us because we want to make sure you're hearing about topics that you're interested in and to make sure that it's a good use of your time. Plus, there's always areas for improvement, and we'd love to hear your ideas on how we can do that. So you can fill out the survey using this QR code. And if you guys are familiar with QR codes, you just take your phone camera. So go to like you're taking a picture and just hold it over this code and it will pop up with the link at the top of your phone. And then another update, next month's meeting is December 10th. So be sure to mark your calendars for that. And then more details will be sent to you in the next few weeks. And then the agenda for the rest of the tug, we will hear two wonderful presentations by two very talented women. Linda, who is representing the San Antonio tug, will be presenting on iHeartMedia's data journey. And then Amy, who is representing the Austin tug, will be sharing how to level up your skills through community. And I know she has a few exciting quotes that you guys will definitely want to hear, so make sure that you stay until the end. And after each of the women present, we will open up for a quick Q&A. So feel free to go ahead and pose those questions in the chat as they come up, and then we'll address those after each presentation. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Linda Brewster Meffert. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Yes.
Linda has over 30 years of experience as a cross-functional manager and business consultant. She helped lead the data and analytics journey at iHeartMedia for the past 10 years, serving as the director of business information systems and spearheading the launch of Tableau at iHeart in 2016. It's awesome. He's a 4-time TCer, Austin, Vegas, New Orleans, and Vegas again, plus a TC-isher who is wholeheartedly hoping TC21 will come to San Antonio, which would actually be awesome. She was the inaugural speaker at the first San Antonio Tableau user group. And today, Linda will share the story of the Wild West approach utilized in the implementation and subsequent support of Tableau at iHeart. In April of this year, Linda's adventure with data and Tableau changed course from iHeart, but continues on with her new coaching and consulting venture. So with that, I'd like to welcome Linda. I'm so glad to have you at the Texas Virtual Tableau User Group today.
Thanks, you guys. It's really fun to be with you today. And my hope is, as I'm talking and giving you a little of the background of what we experienced at iHeart in our journey with Tableau and even before Tableau and as it continues on today, that it triggers some thoughts and suggestions and things that you might be able to post to the group as part of our chat after. My main goal is to give you some takeaways, some things that we could all be working on in our Tableau wish list of things to do. So, all right. I call this the Wild West style, and let me get you ready for it because I know it's Texas, right? So we're going to start this off right. So we did a Wild West approach to implementing Tableau at iHeartMedia for many different reasons. So today I'm going to kind of talk to you about what is a Wild West implementation and why we chose that approach among all the others that were considered and discussed and planned out for many years before we actually did the implementation in 2016. Sharing success stories is probably the highlight for me because it enabled me to look back on some of the highlights, the milestones, and have a sense of accomplishment that you don't normally get when you're in the mix of things and on to the next milestone and looking at the next challenge. Of course, we did encounter quite a few challenges, some roadblocks, some hurdles, and honestly, a lot of frustration in the different avenues that we were using in order to have the engagement stable and also interactive with the business. So I'll share some of those challenges and really in conclusion, hoping to give us all a list of takeaways. I call them lesson learns, things that, hey, for the next time any of us will be working on a new launch of a Tableau implementation or looking for fresh perspective from other companies, right, to bring back to your own. And I would tell you that was a really, really big part of us learning from other customers of Tableau through user groups and really just through connecting with things like LinkedIn and making sure as we were moving forward, we were calibrating how we were doing against other companies of our size and also companies like our competitors that were out there publishing things on Tableau Public that we tried to stay very abreast in, not only our industry, but also different parts of our company and trying to give insight and exposure to them about what Tableau could do for them. All right, so what is Wild West implementation? Why do we choose it? First of all, I'm going to say it was not IT led, okay? And when I say that, of course, we were the core component of making sure the Tableau server was in place and all of the different backgrounds and schedules and systems were put together. I would say that we did not have a coordinated business stakeholder framework or a whole plan worked out with the business. We stood up the Tableau server from the IT side, and we were a liaison throughout the company to help them understand how Tableau could benefit them, either by replacing the manual compilation of data and Excel files and PDFs and PowerPoints they were putting together, but also furthermore, expanding their utilization of analytics and visualizations to help them be good decision makers. So without having a whole framework, we really just came out of the gate and said, hey, we have Tableau for you guys. It was something that had been discussed for many years. Many tools were reviewed. We had over 160 markets in the radio division, and a lot of the sales folks and other core members of the teams in those markets were using various products kind of out on their own islands. So this was an initiative enterprise-wide to be able to offer one tool and have a place where everyone could store their content and be able to access the data through one portal rather than what they were doing out on their own. Of course, we had scarce funding, right? We didn't have a big launch budget. We didn't have huge training. dollars. We had a little bit, and what we relied on was the fact that as business saw the value, they would bring team members to the table in order to engage with us and have hands-on training and work through their data challenges with us. Gosh, no governance. I'm going to say no governance. We let them publish whatever they wanted. Our goal there was to remove any barriers and to let them in the business feel comfortable and confident that any attempt to start to leverage this tool would be appreciated and acknowledged, and not picked apart and said, oh, it's not fast enough or it's not the right colors. We really let them publish whatever they wanted to publish, and worked very closely with them as they did so to guide them on ways that they could continue to improve. Our data analytics platform at that time in 2016, from all of the different disparate systems, was still evolving and honestly changing so rapidly that as the company was providing tools for the business stakeholders to use, we would be changing midstream, mid-flight, and that was causing some frustration within the business, because as we saw new opportunities, we would jump on board new technologies and new approaches. What Tableau enabled us to do is to help them know where the data sources are and have them be able to collaborate through those portals on what they were preparing and what they were tweaking on the back end before they would prepare it. Another component of our Wild West implementation was we had very limited communication around data culture and kind of what this tool was going to do. From an IT perspective, we wanted to have the systems available for them and be prepared for when they were ready to engage and start utilizing it. So a lot of that communication and discussion was out in the business user and stakeholders, rather than an IT-led or any kind of project framework or anything. We did not have any project team to help us engage with the business stakeholders on the implementation. IT role, I call that, we understand from an IT perspective that our role was very clear and well-defined, but in the organization, they were still in a mindset that we would be taking their report order, their dashboard order, right, and actually prepare it for them and engage with them to tweak. This was similar to how other products in the suite were managed for the business stakeholders. We did Cognos reports in that manner, dashboards that were just too technically complicated for most of the business stakeholders to be able to be hands-on. So we did have a very clear vision that we wanted the business to be able to feel that thirst for the data and the knowledge and be able to come to the table. So we understand within IT what we were doing and why we were doing it, how we were doing it. But again, it wasn't a huge communication plan. And that was by design so that the business could figure it out on their own. And they were, and they really were. Our last component of what we called our Wild West was we over-provisioned our environment. So when we decided to go on-prem with our Tableau server, we went way out there so that we would have no concerns in the short or even in the midterm, that we would be able to accommodate what the business stakeholders had in mind. We knew a lot about what they were doing out in their own markets, in their own servers, in Excel and other packages. We just knew it would be a journey. It would take time for them to get to know the tool, to be able to rely on the data and have the features and the functions that we knew that they would be able to leverage to make their lives better. So that's a Wild West implementation. So please use the chat if any of that resonates with you, or you have some feedback on other implementations that you've done that would help the other users on our call today. All right, so why was this chosen? All right, so I'm gonna take off my Wild West hat. And you're going to guess why you think we chose this, right? So I don't know if any of us on this call are old enough, but does anybody know what that is? So this is a bean counter. This is accountants. It was really about money, right? We did not have a big IT budget to launch. We had talked about doing a visualization tool and bringing able to have data sources combined in one place with data catalogs and dictionaries and very wonderful, clean data things that you read about and you see in the training sessions how wonderful the data is to be able to use Tableau on top of it. And then, of course, we all get in our real worlds and it's much more difficult because data doesn't work that way very easily. So we knew that we wanted to remove barriers to really I'm going to say the business has no excuse not to engage, right? Really to foster their buy-in, their participation, and not have them be in a process where they're having to wait for IT teams to review something or acknowledge it or tell them, hey, you need to go back and change this, this, and this. And their boss has now gone off on another priority and they never really got to be able to publish it. I say moving IT teams out of the way, and of course, we were the IT team, so we wanted to be very much a partner, a consultant with our business stakeholders, but we also wanted to take ourselves out of the situation where they were having to wait on us or have any kind of hold up or obstacle in their way. So we literally let them publish whatever they wanted without any security or anything barring their ability to immediately engage with the stakeholders they wanted to do UAT for. I would say, obviously, the approach of why any company would be considering launching Tableau enterprise-wide is to have that tool available as, I would say, most implementations have a prioritization of resources and things. Again, at iHeart, we just said it's all out there, and whoever is the hungriest and the thirstiest, come to the table and we'll get resources around you. So our real goal was just to get it all stood up for them and have processes in place for when they started to engage. Although we did have a little bit of training in the initial stages of the launch, our overall vision was that as a team, whether it be finance or marketing or sales or local research or the programming team, all these different groups, accounting within the organization, as their stakeholders and their executive team decided, hey, we really need to move off of Excel and PDFs and PowerPoints and move into real-time and visualization to help us understand our business better, that they would be trained at that time as part of their own budgets. So that was our rationale why we didn't have a tremendous amount of framework and organization on the front end, or even in the first couple of years after we implemented. Let's see, struggles with data quality, right? So everybody on this call lives through that, I'm sure. So cleansing was a really big component to what many of the business stakeholders were having to do offline in Excel in order to be able to bring the data out to a perspective that was able to be consumed by the masses, right? So this is customer data mastering. This is any kind of our products, right? Being able to get the products in the right order and the right combinations as they're looking at them through the dashboards. And again, in alignment with other systems that we're pulling the data from. So using Tableau would help the business to collaborate and have better visibility on what they were all doing offline to get that data prepped and ready to be able to put into their PowerPoints. Data movements and timing were really a large part of the data culture thrashing at that time. In the source systems, data was being consumed immediately, but the amount of time that it took us to move data from 160 markets all the way back to our central EDW or even into BigQuery and other places we were storing data caused anomalies because mine didn't match with yours. So at that time, we had lots of, I'll call them integrity concerns. Who's got the right data? When did you refresh yours? And the timing was something that we knew that Tableau could help resolve for us, because we could have people consuming that data from a central source rather than offline in their own queries that they were pulling from databases located in the markets. And the last was all around flexibility. So having the ability, as we moved data from one platform to another because of certain technical reasons, that the business would be able to consume as seamlessly as possible, rather than having to redo all of their Excels and everything else that they were working on. So we were really comfortable that that approach was the right approach for us at that time. I would say, was it gamey? Yeah. Was it risky? Yes. Were there many sleepless nights? Absolutely. Not knowing, is the business going to engage? Do we have enough resources? Do we have enough knowledge and education out throughout the enterprise to even let them know the art of what's possible, right? What can Tableau do? Many of our business stakeholders had been at iHeart for a while, and also didn't have a lot of those skills to be able to understand what Tableau could do for them. So we knew the Wild West was the best approach to get us moving. We knew it would be slow going to start because of the data culture and the ability that the business had to consume and ingest new technology. But we were really happy with that approach. All right, so questions, you guys? All right, on to success stories. This is the funnest part. So now we're gonna party. So what were the biggest successes that we got to enjoy as a result of using a Wild West implementation for Tableau? First of all, I would say the engagement, we tracked very specifically. Each month we would report out to executive stakeholders as well as to our desktop license users. Our content quality and our usage was consistently growing higher each month. We saw big spikes as project teams would utilize Tableau. But we, throughout the implementation, were very confident and very pleased with the level of engagement from the business. Of course, from our perspective in our own support teams, we wanted it to be better and better. We wanted everyone to drop everything else they were doing and come and work on Tableau, because it really was that big of an opportunity for the company. From a business engagement perspective, the feedback we got was that it was just about right. It was not forced down their throat. You have to use this tool, because there were many other groups in the company that were using other data viz tools. So it took time for them to kind of see that Tableau was going to be the enterprise-wide solution. Our other biggest success story was a lack of fear of red tape or IT gridlock process. Hey, I don't have a resource for the next 3 months to work on your dashboard. It really was in the hands of the business stakeholders. They would have preferred in many cases just to have some IT guy come in and build all my dashboards for me. But we knew on many of our other visualization, analytic processes, and again, the heart of what Tableau does is that it takes IT out of the way and lets those business stakeholders touch their data, understand their data, and create the visualizations that they are really needing to meet their goals. In our Wild West, we didn't have a lot of boundaries. We didn't have a lot of guidelines. So leveraging the Tableau corporate team and the partners like Technion, Interworks, as we were going through our journey and hitting brick walls saying, why did this happen to us? These guys were available throughout, it really a phone call and email away. And that was a really big part of our success, being able to have easy access to people that were experts already in the journey and very adept at communicating some of the things that they had learned from other clients that were on our journey or a similar journey, right? Probably our big thing was, as we saw all those data grids that the business stakeholders had taken from Excel and they were just publishing through Tableau, to see them start going into a visualization, utilizing the features that Tableau offers, right? And coming back time and time again to a focus that we would encourage them from as an IT consultant side is, hey, what is the question you're trying to answer? What is the problem you're trying to solve? Don't just throw all the data up there and have everybody have to go through and analyze like they're doing in pivot tables in Excel right now. So take them through that story, help all of the business stakeholders be able to define what their thresholds are and where the issues, where the business needs to focus. And that took time. I would tell you probably a lot longer than I was comfortable with, but it was very promising, and a lot of cheering from the business as they move from taking maybe weeks to develop their PowerPoints and PDFs that they were distributing to having it online for everyone to access immediately upon completion. Our data analytics platform continued to mature. We moved in different ways and different spaces, and that really helped the business stakeholders see that we were making progress in that area. We had a huge support structure from our executive team. When there were bumps, when someone did publish a workbook that took 5 minutes to render, and a senior VP saw it and said, "What's going on with your server?" Right? I demand my performance to be high. There was a lot of collaboration and really ability to communicate to the business stakeholders, say, that's how you designed it. If you would like our assistance to help you refine that, happy to jump in with you. But for many stakeholders at that time, 5 minutes to render was months better than what they were having to deal with, having to compile customer data from 160 markets and be able to present it in charts and visualizations where people could consume at the same time and have the same timed data available. We had an amazing collaboration process. We had a Tableau user group. We called it Tableau and Tea. We coined it that just to try to break through some of the clutter and all of the other priorities that the business stakeholders were having. And we encouraged them to grab some tea and come talk Tableau with us. A lot of Tableau days, lots of sessions where we were trying to communicate out certain topics, or simply open mics to enable people to come to the table with their questions and be able to find resources to connect them to, sometimes within their own team. So one guy in finance is working on something that another person in finance is doing the same thing. So by using our Tableau server and that collaboration, we would be able to bring those guys together and have their work, because instead of working against each other, they were working together. We had support portals where they could open technical tickets. And then we had probably one of the most enthusiastic. We had a dedicated team on the IT side that loved Tableau, lived and breathed. We had cheerleading sessions. We were the biggest cheerleaders of Tableau, helping business stakeholders understand what it does and also what it doesn't do, right? It's not going to replace all the other tools in our tool chest, right? It's an addition to our tool chest. It's not tossing out other tools. And I think that took them a lot of time to be able to understand what it does and also what Tableau doesn't do. So we enjoyed lots of successes with our Wild West approach. All right, our challenges. I pull out my old pirate hat. So we a lot of times felt like we were robbing this ship. We were pulling this resource away, and really had many different obstacles that came up that we hadn't anticipated, mainly because even if we did have a good idea of what was going to happen, we didn't have resources to put in place to tackle it. So probably the biggest one is our journey into our data culture. It was new for the company, and it was unstructured. There was not, again, no formal communication. Everything was informal, and it would move as fast or as slow as the business had the hunger for. And that was one of our challenges, because we had a lot of other priorities in the business just to simply get our work done, right? And there weren't milestones that were set by executives or either throughout any of the teams of how many Tableau visualizations do we want to have available, what old Excel workbooks are we going to deprecate, and being able to have a checklist to say, hey, we're 50% of our way there. None of that existed. So we would take our victories as we saw them come through in visualizations and celebrate those with one team and share it out with the other teams in the organization so they could see internally what we were doing. Performance tests, design, data reviews, all of those from an IT perspective were done subsequent to our business stakeholders publishing, right? So we had 81 desktop users who could publish whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. And that caused, I would say, uncomfortableness and anxiety, if you will, on how IT can remain proactive working with the business stakeholders. And you guys live this, but if everybody plans their subscriptions out at 4 a.m., if everybody does their data refreshes at 5 a.m., you know you're going to have problems, right? And so working with them to retrofit not only their scheduling, but also how their workbooks look and feel so that there's consistency in the organization from a user experience perspective. Performance limits, right? So if it's going to take 40 seconds for this to load, is that really where we want to be as an organization? Obviously, the answer is no. But we, again, let them publish whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, however they wanted. And we would come back in with them later and try to retrofit what they were doing and give them that feedback. And that was a big challenge for us in the IT side. Again, manual monitoring, we didn't have a lot of bells and whistles. We didn't have some super cool third-party software. It was just the same team that was here before. We didn't add new heads for our implementation of Tableau. And so we were in a reactionary situation. And that was something that our executive stakeholders from the IT side were very well aware of, and were able to move quickly when we did have concerns with new projects coming out, and we would be able to tweak it. And it was a challenge, but it felt like it was always a fire drill when something like that happened. So not something that normally would be a huge win in a project to be completely open to that. But we did know from the IT side that there would be time in the future that we would be able to grow our footprint, and we were prepared for that. We only had a certain number of desktop licenses, so we were recycling them because business stakeholders would lose interest and not publish, decide not to use it, or they would just have one thing and they were done. We also did a web author launch, which further complicated the lack of business structure and framework around who was working on what when, because then we had lots of people publishing the same things. So those were challenges to us that we worked closely with the business to entertain their feedback and tweak the process as we move forward. And then from an IT side, we had a big challenge in user provisioning, who gets to see what, when, and how, and all that really came through the IT team, so that we had to work closely with those stakeholders for them to help us understand who should see it and who shouldn't see it. So that was an ever challenging battle to be able to go through that. So those are our challenges. All right, I'm sure you guys have challenges. All right, on to our next adventure. So we are into what's the wish list. If I had to do it over again, what would I use? Tableau Blueprint did not exist back in 2016, so it came in after and grew over the years. They continually add new content to the Blueprint. If you guys aren't familiar with it, it's literally a dream. It's just wonderful. You can pick and choose things that work for you or not work for you. And that has been a huge part, I think, of further years tweaking the approach and refining the areas where we knew we needed to better calibrate ourselves. Purple people. I think you guys know what purple people are. So not IT people, not business people, not red people, not blue people, but the purple people who have some of both. They're technically bent and able to acquire the acumen needed for Tableau, but also they exist in the business side and really have a firm and complete understanding of the business data. So we didn't have that luxury, but yeah, more purple people would be lovely. Business content roadmap. So having ability for everyone in the enterprise to understand who's working on what when, and be able to put pods together of users in finance who are working on HR data, put those teams together and with HR and other stakeholders, especially executives, so they could help drive the completion of the milestones. We didn't have that. It was, again, Wild West. A center of excellence is also a wish list item. I know that's a really big word and takes a lot of money and effort, but even having some lightweight version of that would have been helpful to focus on Tableau as a project and something to accomplish and to call done. We didn't really ever be able to say, hey, we said we were going to do it and now we've done it on time and budget, because it was open-ended. A scorecard process. This was in place throughout our Tableau implementation, but being able to have a business acknowledged call to action if the visualizations and the approaches, design, templates, colors were not in line with what IT would say would be governance, or even data source certification, things like that would be heavenly. We would have loved that. We really didn't get that far enough along in the journey up for the first 4 years. Having resources outside of just what was in Tableau at that time, right? Data catalog has been added, Ask Data has been added, but during that time we were looking at third-party add-ons, and that was definitely something that we wished we would have had a little bit more forethought on those items. Our routine expert health checks and design reviews with some Tableau experts. So you can think of your expert Tableau partner bringing somebody in quarterly and making sure that our server was healthy and things. We probably didn't do that as religiously and routinely as I would have liked, but definitely something that I would want to see in a Tableau implementation, just a core foundation of being good. And then a big thing was required training. So our business stakeholders didn't have to do any training. They just basically got their desktop license and we let them fly. So having an internal certification process and just resources around them would have been a huge part, I think, of the next adventure and being part of that. So, all right. So I'm going to turn it over to Q&A to see if we have any chats out there from anyone or any other questions or things we want to add on.
Awesome presentation, Linda, and I love the switching of the hats. That was so fun to kind of break up the sections. We do have a few questions here. One is, what was your first step to go rogue with your implementation? This is
our first step to go rogue. We really settled on one business use case and utilizing Tableau for that. It was reorging our radio divisions and how the markets were rolling up. And we use that to say, this is what Tableau can do for you. And we then engaged as liaisons in the organization with other executive stakeholders to say, hey, did you see what John did over in his team? And wait, who did that? Oh my gosh, Maddie did that. Yeah, everybody knows Maddie, right? Give her a call. And so we went from that one license to 10 desktop licenses, and then we just kept growing from there.
Awesome.
That's a good one.
Another question is, I think this was earlier, maybe right after the Wild West section. How did you address the challenges with data timing? Did you include a timestamp on the records data as of, for an example?
Yeah, we did. And we would have issues where data wouldn't refresh on time, which was more often than we would have liked. And so again, those communications were challenging because from an IT perspective, we weren't coordinating those communications, which in other systems that our teams were supporting, if we didn't load the morning sales data by a certain time, we were in the driver's seat communicating out, hey, there's going to be a delay in the data loads, right? Tableau kind of upended that pyramid and said, hey, if you're the business stakeholder who has published this visualization, it's up to you to know that your refresh time is off and you need to communicate out to your stakeholders. And so that was a challenge for them because we used Active Directory for security, who can see what, and they didn't really have access to those security groups and things. So I would say that was a working challenge for everyone. And it led to very uncomfortable 3 a.m., 4 a.m. phone calls routinely to say, hey, we have to get the data there ready because we don't have a communication plan. And the business honestly didn't want to invest in one because they just wanted their data done on time, right?
Right. Another question from Kevin is, what is a center of excellence?
Oh, this is my celebration hat. I should have my champagne, but I don't. My Kentucky Derby, this is what I drink champagne in. A center of excellence, great question. So a cross-functional team representing every part of the organization brought together to focus on specific areas of data, analytics, and reporting. Really answering those questions of, hey, what are we trying to figure out in our data? What questions are we trying to answer? What problems are we trying to solve? And what that team collectively does is drive the prioritization of not only the IT teams of what data is going to get landed where, when, right? What pieces of the data, right? Well, we'd love to hook Tableau up to Salesforce, right? Everybody says, yeah, let's do it. Oh, you can do it. The problem is there was so much data that anytime you went to start mine that data and start pulling it in for Tableau, it just went so slow. So being able to go back and engage with the business through a center of excellence framework would enable us to say, what are the things you're trying to look at first? And let's pull those fields in for the business users in Tableau to be able to leverage, right? And then we continue to grow from there. It's also milestone setting, right? As well as prioritization. And it's I would say a component. No, I would say it's a foundation, honestly, to a data journey and having the vision for what a data culture looks like in an organization. The Center of Excellence team is really just critical to that process.
Awesome. So I think that's all the time we have for questions for Linda. I'm going to post her contact information in the chat here, so feel free to contact or reach out to Linda. Here, I did see a quick question about Tableau Blueprint, and Whitney so kindly put a link in the chat, so be sure to check it out there as well. It is a framework, or as Whitney put it, a methodology. So you can learn more on the Tableau website through that link. But again, thank you so much, Linda. It was a great presentation. I'm going to stop screen sharing right now, and I'll introduce Amy. Awesome. Okay, so Amy Wu is the CEO of VizDr. And Amy started VizDr over 2 years ago to bring together better visual analytics to the educational communities. A little bit about VizDr. VizDr is a trailblazer in providing custom modern dashboards to help you take control of your school data. VizDr can help you get data relief by creating visualizations that are right-sized to your campus or district, including fully filterable insights on every dashboard, heat mapping for student growth and performance, and interactive views on school level efficiency. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Amy.
Hi, can everybody see my screen?
Looks good.
Okay, awesome. I have one hat, my data hat. Today I'm going to talk about how to upgrade your skills with Tableau community members. And one thing I've noticed is about, all my degrees working with in the business school and education, working in government, it's always, there are always these wonderful data people, these like data superstars who always work together. So I wanted to talk about some of the groups that Tableau has and how to get in touch with them. So hi, I'm Amy Wu. I'm the founder of VizDr. And here is my email if you'd like to get in touch. I'm a data nerd that likes to help nonprofits make their data look good. And I asked some of the data superstars, I asked for a quote about their group and how it affects the community. And 8 people answered the call. So here we're talking about Prep and Data, Project Health Viz, the Data Plus Love podcast, the Data Dev program, the Workout Wednesday, Viz for Social Good, the Sports Viz Sunday, and Iron Quest. And the first superstar we're going to talk about is Carl Alkin for Prep and Data. He is a Tableau Zen master and a social media ambassador. In his free time, he likes to visualize cycling and basketball data. He works at the Information Lab, is known as the other head coach. He is the co-founder of Prep and Data, and this is his personal blog, Data Jedi Ninja, blogspot.co.uk. And I'd like to thank everybody that for providing me pictures today. It's much easier to see the people with pictures. The first skill I identified is from the quote was data preparation. Prep and Data is a weekly challenge to let people learn the skills of data preparation and then practice. Self-service data visualization has changed how we work, but Tableau Prep has allowed us to lower the barrier to entry of data preparation. And if you ever use Tableau Prep, it's super cool. You get to keep all your records of how you change the data. So if someone asks you, in a couple months, how did you change that data? You could just pull it back up and you can look at it. So it's amazing. They have weekly, Prep and Data has weekly challenges with video solutions. Recent topics include correcting spellings of geography, calculations, organizing comments. So if you're one of those people that has qualitative data, this is a good place to sort it out. If you'd like to sign up for it, it's at prepanddatablogspot.com. And if you don't have time for that, he has a data book, Tableau Prep Up and Running. He says is an introductory guide for people to start using Tableau Prep through to do some sophisticated data preparation work to empower people's analysis better. And this is an unpaid endorsement. I just really like his work. The next person we're talking about is Lindsay Betzenzahl for Project Health Viz. She is a Tableau Zen master, a public ambassador, 7-time Viz of the Day person, the founder of Project Health Viz. She does also the Moms Who Viz blog. She has 2 kids of her own. And she also has Monday Minis, which is her new project for new Tableau users. You can see her project at vizindata.com. She also works with Iron Quest some months, so some of these projects work together. From her quote, I identified data visualization. She says, the best way to reduce stigma is to increase awareness and to share knowledge. That is one of the goals of Project Health Viz, a monthly visualization focused on health and healthcare data. The project aims to help people learn about important health topics that impact so many of us while providing opportunities for people to improve their data visualization skills. Through visualization, people can practice how to tell meaningful stories of our health each month. Project Health Biz strives to create a community of people interested in health data, provides feedback to help individuals improve. They have a new project each month. Recent topics include condition contributing to COVID deaths in the US, global greenhouse gas emissions, geography of social capital in America. And this is the link to join the project, vizndata.com/projecthealthviz. And she also has a data book, Visualizing Health and Healthcare Data. So Lindsay has been working for 15 years in the healthcare field. She was a marriage and family therapist. This book is written by healthcare professionals, and it says it provides a high-level view of health data. It's available on Amazon.com. Our next data superstar that talked to us today is Zach Bowders from Data Plus Love podcast. He is a Tableau public ambassador. He created the Data Plus Love podcast. He collaborates with other groups such as IronQuest, we'll talk about later. He is a 4-time Viz of the Day, and he is very, very popular on Tableau Public. He has, last I checked, he had 1,480 followers, which is amazing. So if you haven't already followed him, you should do that now. From his quote, I identified talking without a script. So he says, Data Plus Love is a low format, unscripted look at the people behind the Viz. The data fan community is full of amazing, passionate data practitioners from varied disciplines. On the podcast, I strive to have the kinds of casual conversations about data viz that I have with new friends at the Tableau conference. No script, no planned questions, just two people talking and exploring what makes our mutual passion of data viz so incredible. And this podcast has been around for about a year. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. It has a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, and people that he has interviewed include superstar Christian Felix, Adam Miko, and Sarah Bartlett. Oh, I'm really excited to talk about this program that Geraldine Gigi Zanoli is she works with the Data Dev program. If you haven't heard about this, you should sign up now. This is one of the amazing things that is happening at Tableau right now. Gigi works at Tableau. She's a product manager, a developer of the platform, evangelism. She's a Tableau Server Qualified Associate, Tableau Certified Professional, and her blog is tablautique.com. So the data program provides a way for you to learn these kind of skills that you always thought were out of your reach. So her skills that I identified were to learn API and developer tools, really super cool stuff. She wants to make it a safe space for anyone interested in learning about Tableau's API and developer tools. And if you want to join the program, there's a link right below. Tableau developer tools include automation integration. So if you want to create custom workflows, extensibility. So if you want to integrate dashboards with other applications, advanced analytics. So if you want to integrate your R, your Python, your MATLAB, you can do that here. Embedding, if you want to embed Tableau into other applications. If you want to connect any other data source into Tableau that you can already, you can use the connector SDKs or the hyper APIs or something else. And this video will explain this in detail about what all these are. So if you have questions, you should see this video. She does a really good job of just walking through it. Plus you get to see people win dinosaur onesies, which is kind of funny. They also have many challenges for the developer program. So if you haven't tried these out, they have 3 levels. So beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So if you don't know how to code even, they have a level for you. And if you ever wanted to do a webhook or make some writing extension, this is a great place to start. And they have YouTube videos that help you walk you through it. And if you join the developer program and you have like a Tableau Online license, you can get like a sandbox. So you can practice all your extensions online, which is it's just amazing. So you should definitely check this out. The next person is Lorna Brown from Workout Wednesday. She is a Tableau Zen Master, a Tableau Public Ambassador. She is a major Workout Wednesday contributor. She started at the Data School and she now works at the Information Lab, and her blog is missdataviz.wordpress.com. From her quote, I identified to learn different solutions. She says, Workout Wednesday community is the same as the Tableau community, dedicated to the challenges and community projects. I love seeing how many different varieties of solution there could be and how people enhance the visualizations we provide. I say Workout Wednesday is an integrated part of the Tableau community now, and I am forever grateful for the opportunity I have to lead that. I hope people come and take part in Workout Wednesday in the future. Workout Wednesday is really amazing if you want to make like a business dashboards, you want to learn some great calculations. They have weekly challenges with video solutions. They have the full Vizes on Tableau Public. And recent topics include maps. She made a great target map on week 34. You should check that out. It's just amazing. It's beautiful. There's also small multiples and dates, and you can sign up for that on workoutwednesday.com. The next person we're talking about is Chloe Singh for Viz for Social Good. She's a former Tableau Zen Master, the founder of Viz for Social Good. She's playing her MBA at Stanford. She worked at Twitter, and her group was named a finalist in the Fast Company's 2018 World Changing Ideas Awards. And if you look at the board of the Viz for Social Good, you'll see some major Tableau players like Neil Richards. So it's really amazing. What I really like about the Viz for Social Good is that it kind of integrates marketing techniques that you traditionally see with the picture in the background and the Viz in the front of it. And the Viz is kept in minimal colors so that you can interact with the picture while you're reading the data, which is like, it was a space in the Tableau group that I thought was amazing. Her skill is to collaborate. She says Viz for Social Good empowers mission-driven organizations to harness the power of data visualization for social change. She says we bring together passionate data professionals with social organizations to collaborate on data visualization projects to tackle these critical issues. They had monthly data visualization hackathons. You can check out the website. They work with really large organizations such as UNICEF, Kiron, World Resource Institute. If you want to find out about the program, you should go to vizforsocialgood.com/become-a-volunteer. Our next data superstar is Simon Beaumont from Sports Viz Sunday. And this is a really funny picture. He is a Tableau Zen Master, Tableau Social Media Ambassador, Iron Viz finalist, co-leads a Sports Viz Sunday. He used to work for the NHS. His blog is thevisionaryblog.co.uk. Next skill is to connect with people. The Sports Viz Sundays is a community initiative that aims to connect people with shared love of sports and data. The initiative takes multiple forms. The first and most prominent one being a monthly challenge focusing on a particular sport or sporting event. A data set is shared, and people are encouraged to explore the data and create a viz. Often people say the best challenges are those when they viz about a sport that's completely new to them. You'll often see this as the viz of the day, something from this group. It's a monthly challenge. It's the data's on data.world here in Austin. Recent topics include NFL rushing data, Champions League Finals 2020, and NBA shot locations. And if you'd like to join, it's sportsvizsunday.com. And our last data superstar is Sarah Bartlett from IronQuest. Last but not least, she's a Tableau Zen Master, a Tableau Social Ambassador. You always see her on Twitter. She's always saying really great things to everybody and giving good feedback. She's IronQuest founder. She's got 5-time visit a day, and you can see her website at sarahlovesdata.co.uk. And from her quote, the skills are source and build. She says, IronQuest is a monthly communication-led data visualization project, which follows a similar format to the Tableau Iron Viz feeder competitions. Participants have a calendar month to source a suitable data set and then design, build, and submit a data visualization. Every submission should use a data set that somehow touches upon the chosen theme for that month, and every viz should aim to showcase best practices and skill in design, storytelling, and analysis. It has a monthly theme, and she says it has 400 entries and 26 visitor days. She has 215 unique participants, and I'm one of them. Her current challenge is the black and white dashboard. So if you have a black and white dashboard, you should submit it today. And this is the link to start it. It got me started doing the IronQuest and the IronQuest to the Iron Viz, and I got an awesome pin. I'm all about that Tableau swag, like this hat. So I'd like to say thank you to all the amazing superstars who gave me a quote about their group today. It was just amazing to hear from you guys. But if you need help creating a visualization and dashboard for your org, feel free to reach out to me at amy@vizdr.com or check out my website at www.vizdr.com. If you have a favorite person from the day, a favorite quote, favorite group, reach out to them on Twitter and just tell them how amazing they are. Cara Alkin is Data Jedi Ninja. Lindsay Bettendahl is at Zendal Data. Zach Bowders is at Zach Bowders. Geraldine Zanoli, aka Gigi, is at Illinois. Lorna Brown is at Lorna Brown. Chloe Singh is at Data Chloe. Simon Beaumont is at Simon Beaumont 04. And Sarah Bartlett is at Sarah Loves Data. If you want to add at the VizDr, also, that would be great. Well, it's been amazing talking to you guys, and I look forward to your questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. That was awesome. Like so many different resources, and how cool that you got quotes from all of those different people. Yeah, I saw there was some banter in the chat, but if you guys have any specific questions for Amy, I did see that there was one question, if you would be able to share this deck. I think they would like to go back and look at the different resources.
Sure.
And we can definitely include that in the follow-up email after this meeting. Awesome. Let's see, any questions, guys, real quick? Okay. So this meeting was recorded, and recording as well as this deck and any other additional resources will be included in that email. A reminder that our next meeting is December 10th. And Whitney, if you're still on, do you want to give a quick blurb on what you're going to cover in the meeting?
Yeah. So thank you again so much, Linda and Amy. That was absolutely fantastic. It was also really fun to witness someone on a webcam take a photo of this slide. Now I've had a Zoom meeting where I got the full in-person experience of watching someone take a photo of a deck. That's great. So on December 10th, normally we'd be having an annual holiday party. Instead, we're going to do a holiday party on Zoom. Whenever we send out the invites, we're also going to be sending out a data source. Amy's presentation today actually inspired me to maybe look a few other places so that we can have an annual Viz contest. We have a few other speakers that may be able to present in December. It may be January. So whenever the invites go out, you'll see that. But at minimum, we're going to be having an annual holiday party and a Tableau Viz contest. So I hope to see you guys there on the 10th.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is so exciting. Here is the QR code once again. If you guys could fill out the survey, we'd love to hear topics that you guys want to hear next time, and also hear feedback from today's session. But again, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Amy, for your wonderful presentations. I know that we all enjoyed learning about both your data journeys and the different ways that you can level up your Tableau skills through community. And with that, I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next month. Feel free to stay on and chat with your peers on here. I'll leave it open for a few more minutes, but thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
You guys, bye.
Thanks.